I mean, it's a true story, and the play is based on Mende Nazer's autobiography book, Slave, and we've adapted it straight from that book. And from day one, when I first met Mende, my promise to her was we would stay truthful to the book, but she collaborated with us on the script with Kevin Fegan and I. And, you know, at that stage, she'd never been to the theatre, so she didn't know what a stage play was. You know, when I first met her in 2004, she'd only had her asylum for a couple of years at that stage. So she was still learning how to accept her freedom and be a free person, you know, living in London. So I would say it's been a passion of mine now for nearly, 20 years. Because it took 6 years to develop this show, to get the permissions and everything like that, you know. So it's a really powerful story, and it's just as true now as it was then, perhaps more so, with people that are continually enslaved and trafficked. Yeah.
And that's the shocking thing about it, isn't it, really? And I think that's what theatre is all about, you know, spreading awareness in a way where people can digest it who might not be able to digest it or might not have seen anything like that before. Is that really something that you feel strongly about? I know with Feelgood Productions, there's always been that kind of passion behind it and wanting to kind of change the world.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I think storytelling can change hearts and minds. And people that came to the show last time, they then did something about, you know, even in a small way. You know, the local supermarket close to me, the manager who I know said, "Caroline, what show are you doing at the moment? Because I've had endless letters from children and adults saying, are any of our products in their supply chain involved in slavery?" So it not only raises awareness, you know, on a national scale, but it's local. If we can affect, you know, even 6 people, that's 6 more people. And we've always tried to do that at Feelgood. But this story, I think, it's very powerful, but it's also a celebration of this beautiful ancient Nuba culture. So the singing and the dancing, and they are Mende's songs and music from her Nuba culture. So it's a celebration as well as an important story. So we learn a lot about her beautiful family, her mum, her dad, her brother, you know, and the dancing. And it's a celebration as well as an important story.
And it is going all across the UK. We are really lucky that it's stopping at the Lowry, and the cast has been announced and been revealed, and some of them are actually returning from previous productions. Yeah. Our Mancunian actor, Chris Jack, but he's playing a different role this time, is he?
He's 14 years older.
Yeah. We shouldn't be giving his age away, should we?
No, I know, but he's 14 years on. I'm 14 years old as well. But he played Babo, Mende's younger brother last time. And now this time he's playing Bar, her father. So that is just lovely. And so then we've got a younger actor, Nimi, playing Babo. And it's like passing that generational thing on. And now Chris, you know, is a father of 3 children himself. So it gives more layers to the show. And we've got Ebony Fear returning as well. And she's played Mende herself and Keiko. She's returning to play Keiko as, again, you know, bringing more layers to it from her life experience, you know. And we've got Mohand, who is from Sudan in the cast. He's from Khartoum. He's from the north of Sudan. And, you know, he claimed asylum here himself. So these added layers, you know, and we've got a member of the company who's from Zimbabwe, and her family claimed asylum years ago. So it's multi-layered. It's a real global cast. It's so exciting.
And Mende herself, what does she feel about kind of the fact that, you know, this is continuing, this story, you know, that she told, that she wrote about so long ago is just continuing to affect people and have that change?
Yeah. I mean, I was with Mende in July. She now lives in America, with her husband. Her husband claimed asylum in America when he was, the last civil war. And she's just so excited that for people to see it on two counts, really, to experience her culture that is slowly being eroded, but also to use her voice. Obviously, it's 20 odd years on now from her experience, but so many young girls and women are now experiencing this again in Sudan, but around the world. It's a global story. And she just says if her story can be a voice for people who haven't got a voice, then she's so happy for that to happen again.
And, people have taken note of this. Like you said, the youngsters, the shot, but you performed in the House of Lords. I'm right, aren't you? And got an award presented at Downing Street.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we got the first Human Trafficking Foundation Award on the first Anti-Slavery Day. So last time we did this, the modern slavery bill wasn't on the statute bill, the law, which came about in 2015, believe it or not. It's such a modern bill, really. And so we were part of the campaign. We performed in the House of Lords to help that modern slavery campaign, and also the Nuba Solidarity campaign as well. And we were, very honoured to receive that first award.
What was that like then? What was that like doing it in the House of Lords? I can't even imagine, Caroline.
It was amazing because we had these drums, and I remember it was a snowy day in November, and there was some demonstration on Whitehall, and it was blocked off. And I had this letter. I was with Mende herself and the cast. We had 2 suitcases of army gear because of the raid scene in the show, and drums, djembes. And this policeman said, you can't go down there. And I'm waving my letter going, but we're performing this important story. You have to let us down. And so there was just the cast and me and Mende walking into the House of Lords, where only a few years earlier, Baroness Caroline Cox was appealing in the House of Lords for Mende to be given asylum in the UK. And now we were going to try and do that for other people. And Mende was there as a free person, doing it for other people. And it will just stick with me, for a long, long time. And Lord Dulakia and Lord David Alton of Liverpool were there as well. And I said to Lord Dulakia, I said, we've got these drums. He went, yes, leave the doors open. Everybody needs to hear this. He said, this is your place to tell this story. And Wow. It was just so moving. So there's a lot of good, people have worked on that modern slavery bill. It means so much to people. And for us to perform there was incredible. And on the 15th of October this year, we've been invited back to Speaker's House with the Speaker, because it's the Anti-Slavery Awards again, and we've been invited as special guests with Mende to go and just be at those awards again. So it's kind of come full circle again.
I was about to say that it does feel that way. And I think as well, touring the country now and kind of getting the word out to even more people is going to feel really, really special. And do you know what? Honestly, it's mind-blowing what you do, Caroline. 30 years with Feelgood Theatre Productions, 1994. Did you ever dream, though, that it would become what it has become and just have the accolades?
Yeah, no idea. I started it to do one show, which was at Barton Aerodrome. It was 1994 was the City of Drama year, all those years ago. And at Barton Aerodrome, it was a little musical about 2 wartime brides. We flew in an American bomber plane on the grass airfield at Barton Aerodrome. And then somebody said, we didn't really have a name for the show, for the company either. Somebody kept saying, do you know what, this feels really good. It just feels really good. And we had an all-female dance band, and then we had this hangar dance inside this hangar. And I just thought, maybe I'll do another one. And then, maybe I'll do another one. And it just kind of carried on, and everything's project funded. So we've never been portfolio funded. It's all come off my laptop or my small office in my house. But I've just been blessed with, help from the Arts Council and sponsors but incredible casts and creatives, you know, and we predominantly, you know, make no bones about it, we prioritise Northwest-based artists and creatives, you know, to keep that talent and that passion alive up here, because it's all there in Manchester. It's all here in Manchester.
Absolutely. And, you know, we totally value that you have done that. And site-specific productions, you know, I've seen many a production at Heaton Park. The Three Musketeers, I think, you know, you're at the Old Hall at Heaton Park. Yeah. What have you got planned for the next 30 years, dare I ask?
I don't know, probably a Zimmer frame for carry on.
What would be the dream? What kind of thing would you like to see Feelgood going forward?
I love doing this cross-cultural thing, you know, and exploring new cultures and things. And, you know, as you know, we've done a show in Zimbabwe. We've taken a show about, not about heroes, we took that to France and things. But I love working with, you know, music and crossing the different disciplines, music, dance, drama. My big dream has always been to have an outdoor amphitheatre in Heaton Park, because it's the people's park, you know, it's where so many stories we've told. That would be the dream. And I just love repertory style theatre. You know, rep theatre started in Manchester by Annie Horniman, a formidable woman. You know, I was honoured with the Horniman Award a few years ago, but just that nuance of producing great theatre in Manchester, and to have a home base for Feelgood would be incredible. But I love doing the outreach and stuff, just telling good stories, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. You're giving me goosebumps, honestly, you really are. Do you know what? I want us to come back and say both of those things have happened, because why shouldn't they, Caroline? They shouldn't. Yeah. We dream big and you achieve big things. So we'll leave it for now. Have a great time with the national tour. It's going to come to the Lowry very, very soon. It's next week at the Lowry, which is like coming. Yes, I know. I will be there. And yes, please come back and tell us more about Feelgood, won't you?
And just to say that if anybody wants to come to the Lowry next week to see us, Mende will be here with us. She's coming from America. She'll be here Wednesday and Thursday. So just come and meet this phenomenal woman. She's absolutely incredible.